welcome back to another week rotations video. We're now week number 69 in the series where I show you everything I've worn all through the week, and it's everything from my collection. So some things maybe designer, some things maybe niche or indie, but most of them are gonna be cheapies because that is what I enjoy collecting and what this whole channel is all about. So first off, I want to say apologies for not having this video up on Monday. Usually I would, and I'd most of the time film it either that Saturday or Sunday and edit through, but I had a debilitating headache. My wife just came in from a late anniversary trip and we had a good time, but as soon as we got in, for some reason the headache hit me, couldn't do anything, could hardly even eat, definitely didn't feel like making a video, so I had to push it off to today on Tuesday. So instead of Monday, it's a Tuesday and all kind of other stuff. And I also want to say there will not be a end of the week video on Friday, which is where I usually do my full full video uploads. Again, a lot of stuff going on, not feeling the absolute best, have a lot of things I'm trying to work on in the background, both for the channel and other things that are obviously more important. So I will not have a main video coming up this Friday, but I'm gonna try to put out some other shorts and some other exclusive stuff here and there. Hopefully it'll make up for the lack of content thereof, but still rest assured I am working on stuff in the background. But since we got those announcements out of the way, let's go ahead and go off with the first fragrance of the first day of last week, which was on Sunday. It was a pretty much cooler day, way more cool than I expected. It was a nice spring, airy, kind of crisp morning, and it gave me a perfect opportunity to wear one of my absolute favorite colognes and cheapies and really fragrances in the whole collection. I really kind of push off on when to wear this because I think that it's just such a special occasion kind of style fragrance. It is by Maison Alhambra, and I'm gonna be careful when showing the bottle because I don't want YouTube to flag this, but it is their clone of Tom Ford's Oud Wood, and it is called Woody Oud. So yes, this is a very blatant clone of Tom Ford. This is when Maison Alhambra had their old style bottles, which they had to redo because they were getting a lot of legal action taken against them by obviously Tom Ford. But this, scent-wise, it smells exactly the same as Oud Wood. I actually was able to spray Oud Wood on my hand, test it out over a weekend, come back, smell this, and it smelled the exact same. Really, really close. You have that very, very woody aspect, a little bit of an oudy funk, like a nice little bit of a Middle Eastern exotic twist, but it's mainly just a lot of oud, a lot of spiciness. I think there's cardamom in here, a little bit of musky, other kind of aspects in here. It's a little bit fresher than you'd expect, but it has a very nice, classy wearability to it, a nice dense heart to the middle. Very, very slightly sweet, but it's nothing that's overwhelming. It just has a little bit of that in there, just enough to kind of keep you enticed in, but it's absolutely amazing. If you smell anything like Oud Wood or the actual one, you definitely would be able to tell that this is a big clone of that, and like I said, very close, like 90+% accurate. Of course, aside from the quality, but as far as the scent profile, it is dead on. You can't really get this in the same presentation that it is now. Like I said, make sure to hold it out of frame, but you can get it in a different presentation which has the same juice in it. I think it's called like Smoky Oud or Smoky Wood or something like that now, so it should be the exact same fragrance. It just looks different, but yeah, this is fantastic. Way more for like the cooler end of spring, fall, and winter, not really for summertime, even though some people say you could wear it for like office or whatever, or cooler nights, but I think it's exclusive to just the cool side of the year. Like I said, for more special occasions where you want to feel classy and more sophisticated, this is perfect for that. But yeah, absolutely love this stuff. Phenomenal, highly recommend it. That nighttime, had a little bit of a get together with some youth guys, some other friends of mine from the church, and so I decided to wear one that, again, it was cooler that night, like way cooler, and I don't really wear this that much as far as through the warmer side of the year from spring to summer, but like I said, it was cool, I had the opportunity to, so decided why not. And it's my absolute, another favorite clone of mine from the same house, or the mother house of Maison Alhambra, which is Lattafa, from the Lattafa Pride line, and it is Ensemble Silver. So this is definitely a twist and take and clone on the Azara Most Wanted, Wanted Parfum, things like that. Very much in that style. Has a nice sweet vanilla, bubblegum-esque kind of sweetness on the top. When I first got this fragrance in based on a recommendation from when I did a big haul based on people's suggestions, recommendations, I didn't know what to think about it much at first. It didn't have the best performance and it was not all that there, but as it sat and matured for well over a year, it's gotten way denser, way richer, way more hearty. That vanilla is way more heavy than what it used to be. You get a good bit of sweetness and you actually get a little bit of a bitter aromatic note in here. I think think it's Nagarmata or something like that. It's a very nice aromatic, herbaceous kind of twist to it, which you don't expect, which makes it a little more interesting than just having these sweet bubblegum vanilla spices that you expect from like Wanted by Night, Parfum, things like that. Very interesting, very masculine as well, adds a nice twist to it, a little heavier, a little bit of woodiness in the base and musk and all that, but it's fantastic. Like I said, a great twist on that profile, and it's very, very cheap now, way more available than it used to be, and it's great quality for like the 20-something dollars you can get it at. So yeah, definitely recommend this. By the way, not a bad performer as well, and the Woody Oud was also a phenomenal performer as usual, but yeah, highly recommend this one. Now going on to the part of the week that I actually asked all of you about in a community post. I asked you if I should go with old school fragrances for the week or should I go with new school fragrances for the week. And I considered old school to be like the 80s up to like the early 2000s or mid 2000s, and the modern up to like the 2010s till now. And of course, everyone voted for me to do the old school stuff, which I was very happy about because there's a lot of stuff in here that I haven't given a whole lot of wear, and at least not in a long time. And it's very nice to wear it. And like I said, it was a very nice, cool spring week for the most part. It did heat up a little bit toward the end of the week where I had to change some things up, but it did really much give me a lot of ample opportunity and chance to wear a lot of the old school style fragrances that I really, really enjoy. And I think a lot of you out there, if you're really into cheapies, you know, find one of the better quality stuff, you need to get into the old school stuff because it's been around for a while. It's seen everything. People used to wear it for years, so it has its fame and its grounding in the fragrance community, and people probably forgot about it just because of the years past, but it does not mean it's diminishing quality in any way. But so on that Monday, I went through that Monday to that Friday with a few exceptions, and I'll get into that a little later, but I went old school all the way through, and I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed it. I had my own little kind of vibe and aura and mindset that was in that I felt like I was living back in the past, and it really felt amazing. Starting off with this one on Monday is none other than Jacques Bogart's Bogart Pour Homme, very similar to things like Jerzoff's Naxos or even Pure Havane by Terry Mugler, which is a discontinued fragrance. Has that tobacco essence to it, even though it does not have a tobacco note in here. It's very much vanilla, aromatic, a lot of lavender, a lot of woodiness, very musky, but like I said, has a little bit of a tobacco nuance, which is very interesting. It's very noticeable as well, so it's surprising that it's not a note in there. Some people even say they get like a cherry or cherry tobacco essence to it, and I really don't get that. There's a slight bit of fruitiness in here as well with the way that some of the other sweeter aspects come through, a little aromatic. It's absolutely amazing, so classy. One of the sexier sides of the old school fragrances, especially from the ones that I have this week. But if you want a masculine fragrance that has a little bit of sex appeal to it, that's still old school and hardcore rugged masculine, but still has that little bit, like I said, alluring factor to it, this is a great one to go with. Almost all year round wearability, probably except for the super high heat in the summer, but you can wear it for most occasions, most times of the year, times of the day, things like that. It's phenomenal. It's been around for a while. Everyone's hyped it up and about in the cheapy side of the fragrance community for a really good reason. That's because it has great quality and it's super dirt cheap and has great performance as well. As it sits on the skin and as it dries down is where the magic really comes out, and it really settles into itself, especially if you let the bottle sit and mature over time. But yeah, I recommend this one. Again, this is what I wore on Monday to work in the daytime, but let's get into what I wore in that nighttime. In that nighttime, I wore one that I actually talked about in a recent old school cheapies video, which I put up right here. I think I put it out like a week or two ago, and it's one that I did wear time to time, but I actually gave it a full wearing this nighttime. I got home from work, cooked supper, was chilling, just relaxing, do some editing, things like that, and went out and about to see other people in other places, and I really love this one. I hope I can find a full-size bottle of this in the same batch this is in, because this is a little bit of an older batch, but it is this one by Bijan. It is Bijan. For men, it is a smaller bottle, but like I said, this batch, I think it's from back in like before 2015, and some people say that before that time they were using like, you know, higher amounts of real oak moss and things like that in there, and I don't know how true that is, but apparently the formulation did change a little bit after that, so hopefully I can find a bigger bottle in the same batch, but still, this stuff is phenomenal. Definitely one of the more wearable, like modern, applicable kind of old school, early 80s style fragrances. This stuff smells way more modern and way more nowadays, like I said, practicability than you would expect for the style that it came out in. It's very sweet actually in the opening and in the mid and most in the dry down as well. There's a nice honey note to it, a little bit of sweet powdery aspect in here as well, a good bit of aromatics, a lot of oak moss and woods, a good bit of like a little bit almost a suede animalic nature on the beginning and on the tail end of it, but overall it's sweet, powdery, aromatic, woody, has a good bit of a little bit, like I said, I'm gonna describe it like a good bit of lavenders here as well. So it like has a nice, clean, masculine floral aspect to it, especially as it gets into that mid. It's really, really nice, very classy, but man, it smells something about it, especially if you're into old school fragrances. This would be one that might be easily one of your favorites, like on the top of your list once you smell it. I really do like it. I want a full-size bottle of it. This stuff is really, really good. Even though like I love my modern stuff and everything out there nowadays, this is very different from everything you see out on the shelf in the retail stores and clones and racks and all that kind of stuff. You need more of this in your collection. We need more of this profile also nowadays, just kind of revamped or whatnot, but still phenomenal. If you happen to get yourself any bottle of this, whether it be this one, a full size, an old or new batch, just get it, try it out, because man, this stuff is phenomenal and a fantastic performer. Like it'll go probably way over average, like over 10 hours probably. I can smell it way through the night, even when I woke up the next morning. So yeah, this stuff is a beast. The next day on Tuesday was a little bit of a warmer day, but not overly warm, like not really getting to the hot kind of side of things, but still again, gave me an opportunity to wear something more fresh. And it's one that I mentioned in one of my shorts videos recently when I talked about like the green fragrances that I really enjoy for spring and summer. Is this one by Carolina Herrera, and it is 212 Men. I believe this one may be discontinued by now. I've heard rumors here and there about it. Then again, those rumors go around for a while about a lot of fragrances. But still, if you can't find it, definitely do not skip out on it. Even if it's not for the best price you think, if you get it for like even like high 20s, mid 30s, it is a perfect price for this. The quality on this is phenomenal. It came out in 1999. I think Alberto Marias did this one, if I'm not mistaken. It is phenomenal. It's just very aromatic green. Like I said in that shorts, it has like a green tea aspect to it. Very airy, watery spritz. It has a fresh cut grass note, or at least a grass note in here, which has a little bit of that greenness, but it's not too harsh to it. It actually is a lot smoother. Like I said, very water spritz, fresh, airy, a good bit of woodiness as well, a good bit of musk, a little bit of a floral aspect in that middle, like a very clean floral aspect to it, but does not at all smell like the 90s, or at least to me it doesn't. It smells way more modern than that. It's timeless as far as I'm concerned. It's phenomenal. It smells great for school, office, casual, out and about, day, night, and summer and spring. It smells really great. Again, if you haven't got your hands on this, you really should. It's not a bad performer either, with like right at average, or not like maybe a tad over that, but still really great. Highly recommend this one. People say discontinued, so if you do see it, you better get a hold of it. That nighttime were one of my absolute favorite old school fragrances, especially in the cheapy side. I really do love this. I know there's a lot of other more expensive and even niche fragrances that kind of have this style, but of course make it better quality. But this, for the price you can get it at, is not talked about that much, and it's absolutely fantastic. It is by Oscar de la Renta, and it is Paul Louis. As far as I know, I believe this is the only masculine release from Oscar de la Renta. Most of, not all of the other releases are female, and they have really good feminine releases as well, especially the modern ones in the Bella line. It is, oh dude, I've always described this as smelling like Coca-Cola. It has that spicy, fizzy, almost effervescent, like a sparkling kind of effect on the top. A little bit of aromatics, the same kind of style that you expect in Coke, and Coca-Cola actually has a lot of other things in it. It's like orange rind, orange peel, all kind of aromatics, cloves, spices, all kind of things in it, and this has that whole aspect to it. Like I said, while smelling like a soda, like you're smelling right there, the carbonation, the fizziness, and all that. It has that to it, very masculine though. It has a little bit of an animalic tinge on the top, then it's quickly gets out of that into being more of the aromatic spices, a lot of the woodiness, a little bit of a leathery, like I said, musky kind of animalic thing to it, but very subdued. Not as much as it is in the beginning, and definitely not as much as Bijan is in the opening. But man, this stuff is classy. It smells amazing on that dry down. It smells phenomenal, like aromatic, herbaceous woodiness and heavy musk. It smells phenomenal. Not gonna be the absolute best performer though. It is okay, but I mean, it is so cheap. You can spray it up however much you want. I've been able to find a full gift set of this with this, I think a shaving gel and a shower gel for a like 20 something dollars, maybe a little less than that. And I bought it for my best friend Tommy, who smelled this, absolutely absolutely loved it. Wore it one night, and I decided the next chance I got him the gift set, and he's loved it since then. But yeah, love this stuff. Phenomenal. If you like old school, classy things that are in the realm of like Chanel's Inteas or even like Kuros, things like that, this is definitely a more affordable alternative to those, while smelling actually pretty similar to that. Some people even say more similar to Inteas than anything else. So yeah, definitely get your hands on this. There's some places where it might be a little hard to get a hold of, so if you do happen to see it either at a rack store or online places like Fragrance.net, pick it up and see what you think about it. Especially if you love old school fragrances that are classy, you're gonna love this one. The next day on a Wednesday, like I said, it was getting warmer through the week, but not too warm. Still left me plenty of room where I could wear more of these spring oriented stuff, things that are powdery and spicy without it being too overwhelming, and that fit perfect for this one here. It's one that I got as a recommendation from the same video that I did a suggestion haul like I got on some silver in, and is by Moschino, and it is Uomo. This is actually really good. I believe this came out in the 90s as well, like the mid to later 90s. Has a unique note of kumquat in here, which is a fruity citrus kind of blend, like as far as the scent profile itself is like a citrus fruit kind of style, even though I believe it is just a fruit itself, but it has a citric kind of aspect to it. Really nice though. It has a sweet, almost rindy, effervescent citric kind of pop to it. It has a lot of florals and a lot of musk. It's very musky but very clean. A little bit of powdery aspect as it gets to the middle, and as it gets to the dry down, it's more just powdery, musky, very soft woods, but not really much there in that, but it smells amazing, very fresh, very classy. Like I said, it is old school, and some of the old school stuff tends to be a little more mature, classy kind of vibe to it, with some exceptions like some other things we've seen in here, but this definitely has that clean man, like freshly groomed, well put together kind of vibe to it. Really like it. Not the absolute best performer. I've gotten better performance to it before, but this past time I wore it, I really didn't notice it that much after so long, so I did have to refresh at my lunch break, but it still is really good. It's worth refreshing over, and like I said, the profile itself and the quality and the blend is really good. It is from Moschino, so it's from a reputable designer brand, and it smells absolutely phenomenal for being so many years old. It still holds up very well today, and one again I'd highly recommend because it's super cheap online and it smells really good. If you want that very unique kumquat note in your fragrances, this is the one to go with. It is really good. Then at nighttime, I had a midweek church service to get to, and so I wore one that I think fit very well for the kind of more casual dress nighttime, a little cooler that night as well. It fit very well with it, and this is actually a fragrance that I was selling at one point because I had an older bottle and a young person bought it from me, and I smelled it all over him. Every time I went by him, and I was like, man, I don't know why I sold that because it smells amazing on him. So I got me another bottle, but it's this one here, a very hype one from Mont Blanc, and it is Individual, the early, almost mid 2000s release. I believe it came out like in 2003 or 2004. I think it's like a year after Presence was released. This is more raspberry, fruity kind of opening to it with a good bit of a powdery spiciness to it. It has that fresh linen laundry kind of thing that a lot of people attribute to it. So you can think of it as raspberry fruitiness mixed with linen sheets and fresh laundry and things like that. It's very clean, very well put together, very spicy as well, and a lot of sandalwood woodiness to it. A lot of people say this smells very similar to Original Santal by Creed, and actually it was made by the same perfumer, Pierre Bourdon, who also did another fragrance in here, which we'll talk about a little bit. And he actually made this fragrance, or at least it was reported that he made this fragrance before Original Santal, so people thought that Creed was copying Mont Blanc, but who knows? That's been a conspiracy for years, but all I know is that this smells amazing. Even though it is an older release, this smells very nice. It's sexy, it's clean. It has a, like I said, a groomed, fresh, gentleman kind of appeal to it. It's really nice, and actually this is one that when I first got my first bottle, it was actually leaking, had it all over the box, all over my hands, but it smelled amazing. And I actually went out shopping with my niece at the time, and she smelled it on me when I opened up the box, and she was like, I really want that. She said, that's exactly what I want my next boyfriend to smell like. So apparently it still has a modern appeal to some young people nowadays. So if you do happen to see it out and about, which it's been rumored to be discontinued for years, but it's still produced, it's still out and about, and you can see it literally at every single rack store you go to, whether it be TJ Maxx, Ross, Burlington, Marshalls, wherever, it is out there in the shelves for like 21 bucks for a full-size bottle. So no reason not to get it, no reason not to try it. If that sounds interesting to you, I cannot recommend it enough to go out and try it out. Now, Thursday were one that I have talked about a fair bit on this channel, but not as much as I used to way back in the day. And actually the video that I talked about this whole line of fragrances, I think it was the second video I made on this channel, and I'll put a link to it right here in case you want to go back and watch that. But it's by Antonio Puig, or simply Antonio Puig, and it is from the Quorum line, and it is Quorum Silver, the most modern release, most recent release from the brand and from the line, and which was back in like 2005 or 2006, I believe. But man, I love this stuff. I'll be the biggest advocate of this fragrance, very much slept on. No one really knows about it unless you're really deep in the cheapy community or have been around for a while. This is one that smells very upfront, strong with a noticeable ginger note, and it comes off very citric, also very spicy, very piercing, but actually not a bad quality ginger as well. And right behind it, you get a lot of woodiness. There's cedar in here, and there's also gaiac wood in here. And the gaiac wood is actually very noticeable, especially as you go to that mid, and the dry down actually takes on a little bit of a smoky quality to it, adding in a little more depth and nuance, way more than you expect for this fragrance. You keep the spices, a little bit of aromatics as well, and a metallic style of muskiness. Very clean though, very well put together. It is an amazing blend. I think actually the same ones who put together the first Quorum also worked on this one as well. So you have reputable master perfumers that worked on this, and it smells fantastic. It smells great. I really think that this smells very close to the 2021 formulation of Dior Homme Sport, which is my favorite formulation and release from the Dior Homme Sport line. But yeah, it smells actually very close to that because of the amount of woodiness and the spiciness in here. It also has, I think, a little bit of like a resinous, like element quality to it as well, but a lot of woods. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. Great for, perfect actually for spring and fall, maybe even nighttime, summer, but the spiciness and that smoky aspect is probably a little too much for the daytime, but it smells phenomenal. Great, and you can find this in gift sets as well online at like FragranceNet and places like that. So highly recommend this one. Again, above almost anything else in this list, I can't recommend this one enough, and not bad performance as well, like probably right under average, but again, it's cheap so you can spray it up however much you want. Not nighttime wore one that you would not think of as a nighttime fragrance, but man, it fits so perfect, and it was a little bit like humid outside, and it had that feeling in the air like it was about to rain, which worked perfect for this fragrance. And I alluded to it before by saying that there's another one that Pierre Bourdon did, and it is none other than the one and only Hall of Famer by Davidoff, and it is Cool Water. Absolutely love this stuff. Actually went to a music practice while wearing this, and I loved it. It smelled great, and it lasted well past the practice, even when I got home. So performance is still good on Cool Water. Very aromatic, slightly minty green, but very, very green. You get that aquatic nuance in there as well. I guess, like my friend said, it smells like chlorine in a way, like you associate it with a pool and the, you know, kind of abstract pool kind of thing to it, like a hotel freshly chlorinated pool. It has that kind of thing to it. It smells really fresh, very uplifting, and has a good, like a huge note breakdown in here, like a lot of citrus as well, a little bit of a floral aspect in the middle, but a lot of herbaceous aromatic grains as it goes through as well. And in the base, you get a slight bit of woodiness, a little bit of ambers, but a lot of musks. There's a lot of aromatic musks basically in that dry down, but still smells amazing, fantastic. It is a, like I said, been in the fragrance community Hall of Fame, Mount Rushmore, the face on the fragrance community or just in fragrance history in general for a reason. It's been grounded in fragrance history as being one of the ones that broke the mold in the aquatic world and set the pace and set the kind of mood for what all the other fresh fragrances would be after this into the 90s and into the early 2000s. But yeah, love this stuff. It is dirt cheap at rack stores and online. Do not pay full price for this. There's no reason for it. You can enjoy this for a cheap price, and actually this probably gonna get the best enjoyment from this for smelling so good on such a low price. But yeah, love this stuff, absolutely love it. And there's a lot of great flankers as well, but the original still stands tall to me. And that Friday, had a half day at work and decided to wear one that I knew wouldn't last all that long, but it would be enjoyable for the time that I was at work before I had to come back home. And like I said, me and my wife had a late anniversary trip, saving up money and picking the right spot and time and place to go, and everything worked out so we were able to leave at the time we wanted to. And like I said, we're one that was short-lived but smelled amazing while it was there, and I think I even refreshed a little bit with it before we left on the trip. It is by Paris Hilton, and it is Paris Hilton for men. This is one that I will be doing a short video just talking about this one because it is very much slept on in the fragrance community, and especially even the cheapy fragrance community as well. I think Dustin from the Fragrance Fan channel actually talked about this one probably more recently and the most that I've seen out of most of the people that I've connected to, and he really loves it, and now I see why. This is actually really solid, and it is even cheaper than most of all the stuff, if not actually probably the cheapest thing out of a whole list of everything I have here, and probably most of everything in my collection. It's like bell cam prices over here, but for a really good quality. You can get it for like 12 bucks for almost a full size like 2 bottle at rack stores like Ross and TJ Maxx and things like that, and it smells really good. What you're gonna get with this is something that is very watermelon, cucumber, green, fresh in the opening. It has very much that early 2000s aesthetic to it, almost like cucumber melon, the smell from the early 2000s and 90s that you'd expect from like Bath & Body, along with some of the other like vanilla stuff and whatnot. But cucumber melon is probably the best thing to attribute this to, while having a little bit more of a masculine twist to it. It smells clean, fresh, water spritz, aquatic, but green, water, like melony, cucumber, almost vegetable kind of aspect to it without being too like niche. But it smells great, a nice musky cleanliness to it, a little bit of a fuzzy, almost slight woody aromatic quality as it dries down, but majority of what you're getting is water and cucumber, and a little bit of fruitiness as well, and a little bit of citric pop to it, but it smells fantastic, really great, and it's just very uplifting. It's perfect to wear if you're on a vacation, if you're in a tropical setting, or if you're going through like, you know, like a lot of forestry, you want it to smell very clean, fresh, and green to match it, or you're going to a spa or whatever. It has that thing to it. It just smells really nice. It just brings a smile on my face every time I smell it, because it just has a it smells like a positive attitude. That's the best way I can say it. It smells like a positive attitude. It's cheap and expensive, but yet it comes across being the best that it could be. I actually really like this stuff, and like I said, you can get a full huge tube side bottle of this for like 15 bucks, if not less than that, and I really do need to go back and get one because I want to use this up pretty quick in the summertime. But yeah, love this. Performance isn't the best, but like I said, dirt cheap. Take it with you. Take the small bottle with you. Spray it up wherever you go. Just refreshing it. The opening is great, and you'll enjoy it every time you do. Just check this out. See what you think about it. I can almost guarantee you're going to like it. And then that was the end of the old school week. Like I said, me and my wife went on that anniversary trip, and I really couldn't take a lot of the bottles with me because almost everything I have is full size, and I didn't want to break anything. I wanted to take more travel-friendly things with me, things that didn't take up a lot of space, and that was easier. And there was also a few new fragrances that I really haven't worn, and I was excited to wear them while I was on the trip, you know, just to make new memories with them while I was out and about. So when we got there that evening, after we traveled a little bit, and we started unpacking, and we stayed and took a nap, we woke up, went out for dinner, and I wore one that I've already talked about before, so I'm not gonna give a whole lot about it, but it's this one, a travel size that I bought from TJ Maxx for like 16 bucks of this one from Azzaro, and it is the Most Wanted EDT Intense, or EDP Intense, I forgot which one it is, but the most wearable, versatile, all year round, all occasion take on the Azzaro Most Wanted kind of profile. Very still vanillic bubblegum sweet in the opening, but it has a little bit more freshness in the middle, a little more lightness as it goes through. Apparently it has like a liquor alcoholic note to it, which I really don't get a whole lot of. If anything, it just smells very light, fresh, but yeah, a little bit of woodiness as well, a little bit of spice, but ever so slightly. And what you get mostly is a fresh, like transparent, almost lively vanilla bubblegum fruity aspect to it, which stays very airy and very wearable for even, like I said, the warmer side. Just probably wouldn't wear this in the dead heat of summer, but in summer nights and most of the rest of the year round, it's definitely wearable. Fantastic, smelled great, performed pretty okay. Even smelled it when I got home after eating, went out and about, and you know, had a lot of fun and a good time. Still smelled it after all that, but still really good. Love this stuff. I have another little carded sample of this as well that I got recently, so I'm gonna be wearing a lot of this probably until I get a full-size bottle, which is quickly becoming cheaper at discounters and rack stores. So yeah, probably gonna pick it up at some point, but really love this one. Highly recommend checking it out and see what you think about it. The next day on Saturday, woke up early, enjoyed the complimentary breakfast, and worked out, took a shower, changed clothes, got ready for a big day. We had a lot of things planned, go to a lot of places, shopping, looking around, traveling, just, you know, going all about, just enjoying the day, enjoying a time in other places that we don't usually get to visit and usually get to enjoy. So I wore one that I actually got in very recently. I actually got it in last week, like a day or two before we ended up leaving. I was really hoping to come in time, and it did. It was a way warmer that day, way more warm than I expected, but It was like scattered thunderstorms or showers here and there, even though we didn't get hit with anything, but you could see the cloud coverage, and it was the perfect time to wear this. It's probably now one of my absolute favorite flankers in this line, but it is by Giorgio Armani, and it is Acqua di Gio Parfum, and this is actually a 2023 batch. I made sure to look at it because I know it's been reformulated, and I was curious and found out this is an older batch, probably closer to when it was originally released. And man, this is probably the closest you're going to get to Profumo, the discontinued beast that, Giorgio Armani discontinued for whatever reason. It's not like people were enjoying it or something, but this is definitely closest to it. You still have a lot of minerality sea salt to it. It gives a bit of a citric burst on the top, but a lot of ozonic airiness to it, and you get a little bit of that aromatic, spicy, incense smokiness that Profumo had. Not as thick as that, not as noticeable, but it was definitely there and gives more reminiscence than anything else that Giorgio Armani has available right now. It smells amazing, and I actually thought that this didn't have good performance because like, man, I don't smell it on me, it's gone. But even at the end of the day, like going on 8 to 9 hours when we got back to our room, I could still smell it on the back of my neck and on my clothes. So it still lasted way longer than I thought. I guess I must have just sprayed too much on and got nose blind or whatever. But it smelled amazing and way more, to the skin and more intimate because it is a parfum, but it had great sillage to it and it smelled amazing the whole time. Really love this stuff. Again, probably at some point I'm gonna get a full-size bottle of this because it wasn't bad at the discounter I got it from, but the small bottle is gonna last me a good while. And it's something I've always heard about, but glad I get to enjoy and really just, bask in and really, really get to it. But yeah, love this, highly recommend trying it out. Then the next day on Sunday, I had to wake up early and head back out, back to home and back to church because I had some other things I had to do and other responsibilities I had to take care of and things that I'm involved in that I had to be there for. And I wore another miniature bottle that I got from a online discounter for very cheap as well. I got this right alongside the Acqua di Gio Parfum, and it's a Mont Blanc flanker that I've been really, really wanting to try and just wear on skin and see what it's like. I've smelled it in stores and I really like this, so I'm glad I was able to find this for super cheap. It is again by Mont Blanc, but it is Explorer Platinum. I know a lot of people were actually underwhelmed when this first came out. They're expecting about something very certain and very big, and it just, I guess, didn't live up to that. But now over the years, people have gone back to it and actually realized it was a really good release and a lot more unique than most of the things put out there now, even by Mont Blanc themselves. This is one that smells very, very similar to me to things like L'Intimus by Lalique and even Rocache's L'Homme Aromatic Touch. It smells very similar to those. Some people say that may smell, similar to Straight to Heaven, but it really doesn't. Straight to Heaven is way more sweet, way more boozy, oak, things like that, woodiness. This is more similar, like I said, to things like L'Intimus, even though L'Intimus to me is way more woody and actually sweeter and more boozy than this here. This is way more focused on the woods and the spices and the fresh muskiness as well. So more on spice than actually muskiness. Very airy, ozonic. It smells really good, very, very classy, way more like grown up, mature, sophisticated, more than you expect from anything else Mont Blanc puts out, because most of the stuff they put out is either very sweet, very youthful, more going into this clone here, this Aventus thing here, or whatever, like Explore and Explore Extreme, things like that. But this one is way more classy, more, grounded, more sophisticated, and I really, really do like it. It didn't last all that long on me. Then again, it didn't spray a whole lot on, and I was actually sweating going in and out. It was actually way hotter outside, more humid than I expected while loading up the car and taking things in and out of the hotel room and all that kind of stuff. But still, it lasted pretty okay, and it gave me just enough to spray something else on when I got home before I went to church. But still, really good. I'm looking forward to wearing this a lot more. This is probably way more for things like spring, day and night, and fall time, day and night, maybe some winter as well. But I think you probably could wear this in the summertime if you're very light with it, or if you're waiting for the nighttime or more air-conditioned settings. But still, really good. Don't mind this. Not mad at it at all. Glad to have my collection, but one that not everyone's going to be into unless you really want a good, sophisticated, office-style, clean, gentleman-style scent. It's really nice though for that. Then to the last one in the lineup that I wore, like I said, I got home, sprayed on something else before going out to church because I just wanted to refresh with something very different, and I felt like that the Mont Blanc one died off a little sooner than I wanted. So I went to Old Faithful. Like I said, it's very warm outside, way hotter than I thought it was going to be, and I didn't expect to wear this so soon. I was kind of saving it, but you know what? I went ahead and sprayed it anyway, and I enjoyed every single second of it. It is by Versace and is none other than Versace Pour Homme, or also known as Versace Signature. As you can see, that dent is going down pretty far, but then again, I've had this bottle for 2 years now, so the fact that I've used it so much and it's only just now getting to that point speaks to both the collection and also how often and how long the bottles actually last you. I mean, it's everything that you expect from Versace, Versace, you know, signature, whatever. Everyone smelled this. It has been a classic. Oh, dude, I love this stuff so much. It's very citric on the top, a lot of neroli, orange blossom kind of style floralness in there, but also a lot of muskiness, which the majority what you're getting out of this is musk, a little bit of aquatic water spritz kind of thing to it, but majority of it is that neroli citrus and a lot of musk, a little bit of some other facets in there, other floral facets and things like that, some things that fill it in, a lot of linalool as well, things like that. But man, this stuff smells phenomenal. It smells great and it actually lasts way longer than what you'd expect. Like I sprayed it, I did a lot of stuff that day, but even when I got home, I could still smell it on my chest and on the back of my neck and on some of my clothes. It still was there after a lot of stuff I was doing that day and a lot of things I still had going on. It was still there. So yeah, love this. And actually you can kind of consider this a cheapie by this point because you can find it at discounters for super cheap, like way cheaper than it used to be. So you can kind of consider this a, you know, cheapie one and kind of an old school one because it did come out like in 2006, which I said mid 2000s, so technically it's there. But yeah, and if for some reason you were in your fragrance journey and you do not know what this one smells like, I know for a fact you've smelled it out and about somewhere, you just may not be able to pinpoint it. You need to get out and about, try this, smell it, get a sample, go to a retail store and smell it, spray it up, or just go to like an online discounter and buy a small bottle like this, like less than a half size for like mid-20s or so. Even if it's a tester, you can get it for that, wear it up and try it out. I love this stuff. I guarantee you will too if you haven't already tried it. And for those of you who already know this is about, you know this is a beast and this is another Hall of Famer in my book. And there you guys, all the things I've worn all through the week. I know this is a way longer video because there's a whole lot to show in this. I haven't shown this many fragrances in a week rotation in a long time. So hopefully I can edit this down a little shorter than what it could be. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed any of this. If there's anything in this video that piqued your interest, anything that you enjoyed, anything you have any questions about, remember you're like, hey, if you like that one, I guarantee you like this one as well, or any other old school fragrances that you enjoy wearing more on the regular, probably more regular and daily than I have, please let me know what you like and what you're enjoying down in the comments below and all your thoughts and all your commentaries and all of that. I love to read it and I love to see what you think about it as well. And if you're watching this video and you like what you've seen here, if it's provided any kind of information to you or any kind of entertainment value, please consider giving the video a like and a thumbs up. Let me know to keep making these week rotation videos, and also that you forgive me for being late on this one and for also not having a Friday upload coming up this Friday. And if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, but you do like what you've seen here or what you've seen elsewhere on the channel, I encourage you to please consider supporting this channel by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you can see all the other things I'm working on in the background. Because trust me, I have a whole list of things and a schedule of when I want to upload certain videos and things I'm trying to work on ahead of time. And I'd love for you to be right along with me on this cheap and inexpensive fragrance journey. And hey, maybe I can even help you discover something new along the way. And as always, guys, that's all I have for today's video. Again, thank you for being here and for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And I will see all of you again in the next video. Be blessed.